Everybody in this room, with maybe one exception, the kid, has probably read more books than I have by a multiple of 10. Probably, maybe multiple of 100. And look where you are. How much good has it done you? Fuck all. Because reading books, buying CDs, listening to podfucks is an excuse for not doing anything. What you don't understand and what will become blatantly clear during this week is that pulling the trigger, taking fucking action, is the only motherfucking thing that counts. A German woman and her husband wanted to come with their 10-year-old kid. And I said no. So then they canceled. Then they came back when he was 12, and I said no. Then they came back when he was 13, and I said no. Because that's a little young. And I want to change your brain cells, but I don't want to damage them. And your brain cells are already fucking damaged. Okay, now, this is what I was referred to when I was in the hunt, creating most of my wealth. And it says there, Guthrie, that's Maximus. And they said I was a caveman, I was a Neanderthal, I was an animal. I took no prisoners. I coached and I taught, and I believe you eat what you fucking kill. Most of the people on this wall, the Hall of Influencers, think exactly the same. Behind you is the Hall of Fame, which a lot of guys and gals aspire to be on. Some of the people you'll notice there. Now there's a lot of little mini me's running around the fucking world trying to be me. Well, that's fine. These are the influencers, and this is the Hall of Shame. And as I said last night, which some of you looked at me strangely, you don't have to be a good guy to be a high-performance person. Hitler, Stalin, and Jesus Christ are on that wall. Because Hitler and Stalin were high performance. And nobody tells you that. This is the Quantum Leap Advantage Seminar for the high-performance people. We're making an exception for some of you in this room because you're aspiring to be high performance. But what it's really about is the psychology of being a high-performance person. It was a great, still great, seminar given by Dr. Dennis Waitley, Psychology of Winning, 40 years ago. It was the first seminar I ever attended. In fact, it's just about the only seminar I've ever attended. And the difference between being a winner, some of you are winners, have been winners, and the difference between being a high-performance person is geometrically the different ends of the continuum. You can win the 100 meters in a race. You can win a lottery. You can do this, you can do that. But being a high-performance person, and the psychology behind it, is you're being a high-performance person because you are being all that you can fucking be. You live it, you breathe it. It's your life. When I wake up, I go give this seminar. I was up since 5 o'clock, and I saw one of you about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the kitchen. They got a bow tie back there. I'm excited. And what you'll see, the last 5 minutes of this seminar on the 6th day, I'll be just as energized, if not more energized, than I am now. And you'll all be fucking tired. It'll be like they sucked the bone marrow out of you. Because you're cunts. If we were at war, you'd all be dead. I'm going to say it again. If we were at war, you'd be dead. And we had a combat veteran the last time here. Little kid, not that tall. Also a cage fighter. I'm going to get into cage fighting. You know why people do that shit. But anyway, that comes in a few days. And 82nd Airborne. And I said, am I right about this? And he said, they never got out of base camp. Base camp, where you start before you go out in combat areas and you get deployed. They never made it out of base camp. And one of the things that really pisses me off is when they call these things boot camps. How many have marketing boot camp except you heard about it, right? Those guys wouldn't know a boot camp if they bit him in the dick. This is the closest thing that you're going to come to in a boot camp. And in the 90s, I used to hit you. And of course, most of those guys are from the 90s. So what does that tell you? Ergo, but I hit somebody now, I'd be in lawsuits. I had a guy from the Norwegian guy, ex-Special Forces. He said, Mr. Peña, he said, please hit me. And I said, and everybody laughed, kind of like you're laughing now. I said, no. I said, please, I want to remember this forever. I hit a broken jaw. He remembers having his jaw wired up, and it was stuck into a straw for 15 weeks. Now, I can tell just by looking at somebody I'd like to fucking hit you. I'll be 70 in a few days. Maybe I can only take 3 or 4 of you at a time at 70. And you don't have to be an alpha male. It helps, but you don't have to be an alpha male. So we're going to talk about how to be a high performer and living it, breathing it, eating it. And we have 2 successful people here. Alumni. We have Jamie, who's back for the second time, who just closed his first acquisition, June something or other, June 12th. And we'll talk about, he has all the credentials that you would think would be required to be a high performance runner and gunner, Yale, Columbia, NYU, MBA, etc., and how fucking difficult it was, this program for him. And then we have the rocket scientist here, Robert, which I affectionately call, much to his dismay, Bavarian Bob, who's back for the 12th time. Paid. Not like you see in these other seminars when they come up there and half the room's full of free attendees. If you can't figure out why he's back for the 12th fucking time, you should go kill yourself today. And we have a 17-year-old. He's a little older than the 15-year-old we had last time. But the 15-year-old was his son, who wanted to come even before that. He just turned 15, a few weeks before. Joe Batten, one of my former partners who was the mentor of Ross Perot, came up with the slogan in America a number of years ago. He's passed on now. Be all you can be for the United States Army. He came up with that slogan. And he was my partner. Because I don't think, and this is about the only religious thing I say in the seminar, I don't think whoever put us here, whether it was serendipity, Big Bang, whatever the fuck, it's because to be less than 100%. We all know we only use 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8% of our brain. Well, you only use a fraction of 1% of your emotional capabilities because you were born afraid. No, you weren't born afraid. You were raised to be afraid. To quit, to give up, to surrender is to fail. Failure is not an option in this program. I have 100% success rate. 100. And no cocksucker in this room is going to change that. A QLA warrior does not blink till the war is done. And I keep talking about war. You're going to put together a war plan here. Not a fucking action plan like a cunt. And cunt's not bad enough. You don't get insulted. So now I call you vaginas. And what did you say, Jamie, last night the key was?
The key is lazy cunt. That's the...
Yeah, and you are all lazy cunts. I still work 60, 70 hours a week and I'm retired. When I start getting your weekly reports, gee, Dan, in the 3rd week, I've come down, I've got the flu, I can't get up out of bed, I'm depressed. Action triumphs words. Money talks, bullshit walks. And all you guys have done so far, and with the one gal, let's talk about it. Mr. Cuban, who's on Shark Tank, etc., he says it a little nicer than I do. He says, it's called working your ass off. The difference is what you are willing to sacrifice. Some of you sacrificed to be here. Some of you got a few bucks. Some of you got 10, 20 million bucks. You know, a few shekel, as they say in Israel. But so fucking what? If you were happy with 10, 20 million bucks, you wouldn't fucking be here. Some of you, you know, we've got a fucking surgeon who all of you ostensibly is where a vascular surgeon is where most of you would like to be. But he's here. We make changes for two reasons: inspiration or desperation. We've got 4 or 5 people that are inspired in this group, and the rest of you are fucking desperate. He says it a little more like I do. When you walk up to opportunity's door, don't knock on it, kick the bitch down and introduce yourself. Mark Cuban's a little more politically correct, owner of the Mavericks. The Rock isn't. And one of the reasons that Donald Trump has resonated so with the American public now, as I said last night, is because he's telling it like it is. There's not much chance that Mr. Trump is going to be president. But the public is so fucking fed up with political correctness. And he says a lot of bad words. So I can't wait for him to say cunt or fuck on one of these things. Everybody will go crazy. Okay, YouTubers, thank you. We'll talk to you later. Okay.